anybody there?
So, guess what? Finally got decent enough to do some video editing. So, I am going to release the first episode that I did for the podcast, all full interview on video. So, I want to also thank John for allowing me to be able to release it. He's a good dude. So, give him a follow. All right, guys? But without further ado, I'll give you the episode. All right. Well, I want to welcome everybody to the very first episode of the Collector's Corner. My name is Ed from the Dadhead Chronicles. And then with me today, we have the very first person on my podcast, John from Kaught Looking, man. What's going on?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You know what, man, this is exciting, like I've never really thought about doing something like this until recently, right? COVID really made us rethink everything, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Uh, so
Absolutely.
so I want to first start by uh, why you started collecting, and why sports, right? What,
hmm
take me back to that very first moment when you were a kid.
All right. Let's go back because
Yeah, let's do this.
I I love revisiting that because I tell everybody I've loved sports. I could probably say since 5 years old. I knew I loved sports. Um, and then I remember playing. My uncle teaching me how to hit. My dad teaching me how to catch. Um, I would. I was always a runner. I loved sprinting. I always wanted to be fast, and um, and then, as I was an Air Force brat, so we
Mhm.
moved around a lot. So we went from Florida. Charleston is where I really met all my friends. Charleston, South Carolina, as a kid, and all the kids were into sports. So that really geared me up for loving sports. And then I found myself. I think it was about 8 years old, 9 years old. I was watching Sports Center highlights. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just a kid watching Sports Center highlights, but
Yeah.
my friends and I, we went swimming, we played basketball, we played roller hockey, we played baseball, every sport. We just loved sports,
As long as
and
you're active, right?
oh yeah, and it was during those times where your parents said, get outside and don't come back in unless you need some water, but that's it, and you're
Yeah.
going
If
back out.
if you're hurt, just rub some dirt and keep
Yeah,
going.
exactly. But I mean, I've just been obsessed with sports for, like I said, ever since childhood.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, same here. Like I've always been raised with, with baseball. Actually, when I moved here to the U.S., it was, football, basketball, baseball, anything you could
Oh,
think of. That's what we were doing. So,
absolutely.
all right, so tell me a little bit about Caught Looking. What's going on with that? Tell me, the backstory of that, man.
Sure. So, Caught Looking is um, so I have to go back a little bit before that.
Yeah.
I had always wanted to start a clothing line.
Hmm.
So I would always talk about that in high school, then in college, and then after I graduated undergrad, I said I'm just going to try something. And then everybody that you talk to, they always get hung up on the minute details of things,
Right.
and for me it was the name.
Hmm.
So I ended up calling my first clothing brand J Benjamin,
Hmm.
um, and that's just my first initial and middle name. And I started making shirts, but then I noticed I kept making shirts about baseball. So, and I have like my most popular shirt that I made with Jay Benjamin was it says "Follow your own dream," but superimposes Jackie Robinson within that.
That's
And
cool.
people loved that shirt. And I said, okay, I I talk about nothing but baseball. I'm
Hmm.
moving on from Jay Benjamin. I'm going to do a baseball inspired clothing brand.
Hmm.
And I had dreams of opening a store and just becoming this huge clothing brand. And this was back in 2010. So I started making baseball inspired apparel, and it was t-shirts. This was one of my first t-shirts. This is
That's awesome. I can see it. Yeah.
the away team, because even my wife was in it. It's on the bottom of the shirt. There's a jersey tag. I made it the away jersey. I try to have the best quality and everything. But where I got hung up on was trying to make it profitable. I wanted to make it a business and make it run.
Yeah.
And it burned me out. So 2 years after I started, I quit. I just quit.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, I had tons of traction. That back then, 2010 was only Twitter and Facebook. And I had, a lot of associates, I guess, or just kind of like how it's going now, where I'm part of the little community. Some of the people that I used to talk to back then, they're disappeared, like Jeff Perro, who used to be minor league clubby. He used to be the clubby for like Montgomery Biscuits or something. I mean, we used to talk all the time, but he's moved on from that. Michael Schlack used to be huge back then. He was trying to become pro, but then after I quit, I left it, but I never got away from baseball.
Right.
So COVID, there was just a ton of time, and then I was starting to mess around with Twitter again and talking to baseball community people, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go for it again. And I said, this time it's nothing about business. I just want to be a part of the community. I want to share baseball inspired stuff, baseball inspired experiences and food and all just fun things baseball.
Anything baseball related, right?
Yes. And I just want to be a part of a community. One of the things I really do like doing is being creative. So making things is still part of it, but I'm not going to make that the focal point of Kaught Looking anymore. If people want to buy the stuff that I make, then that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have one of your stickers. Actually, you sent me. I remember. I still have it on my bottle. So
that's awesome.
I love the logo, and that's how I actually found out about you. Was like, somehow I got on Twitter, and then your information came off. So I'm like, follow right away, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. So, are you still selling, some of the stuff, or what are you still doing with that?
So yeah, I have a website for Kaught Looking, and I have these hats here. This was actually the first thing I made. I always wanted a nice Kaught Looking hat. Back in 2010, I made a Kaught Looking hat, but it was just something I found at some manufacturer. They made what was New Era. It says New Era on the inside, but I don't know if it was, and it wasn't really what I was looking for. But I really wanted a nice Kaught Looking hat that maybe other people might want. And they had, I don't know if you've ever heard of Dome headwear.
Yeah.
So they had fully customized hats. So I got some samples, and I'm like, I really like this one. And they had the 3D raised print. The only thing is I'm not a snapback guy, but for the sake of, people's different head sizes, and if they wanted it, I went with that. But I have hoodies. I did make a t-shirt, only one so far, because I wanted to test it. It's the Kaught Looking, but it's like the MLB logo.
Yeah.
So I've done that for just me and my wife so far. And she's always been supportive. So I was like, let me get you one, and then if people are interested, then that's when I'll do it. But again, like I said, it's not like a money maker for me. I just like being creative and doing things that I've always thought would be pretty cool.
Well, yeah, we all need a creative outlet, right? I mean, we need something to do, especially right now, during these times. So I completely understand. Trust me, I'm collecting way too many hats at this point. But you, right? My wife is supportive of this. Everything that I've done so far, she's like, "Yep, go for it." Why not? I mean, you're stuck at home working, so why not do something creative as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So, again, tell me some more about how you like how baseball really has really led you to collect more hats, because I know you're collecting more hats, right? You collect the fitted ones, right?
I do collect the fitted. So um, my I was I'll say my obsession with hats started in high school, but
Hmm.
before that, as a kid, like I said, I was obsessed with being fast. So my favorite first player was Ricky Henderson.
I
So
knew it. I knew it.
so therefore, my favorite first team ever was the Oakland A's.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, living in South Carolina and trying to follow, a West Coast team is very hard, especially when
Oh
you're a
yeah.
kid. But I followed him as much as I could, and my very first hat was I don't know, it was like a Pro Stars or maybe like Champion or something, Oakland A snapback. I was 10 years old. That was my birthday present, and I couldn't have been more ecstatic.
That's
But
awesome.
um, in high school, we were allowed to wear hats during the school day.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, so I would go and buy baseball hats to match my outfits. Before that was a thing.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I
So
get it. I get it.
yeah, and I mean, I all the teams I would never buy now. I had like the Houston Astros where it was like all glittery gold here, and I had a Montreal Expos hat I found at what was that store called? They've closed, like Woolworths or something like that. It
Hmm.
was on clearance, but I would just buy all these hats. I remember one of my favorites was I think it was Detroit Tigers. I don't know if you remember back in the mid 1990s when Japanese lettering was cool. Well, they had
Yeah.
Japanese letter hats.
I remember
So
those. Every team came
it,
up with their own Japanese lettering
yeah,
of their logo. Yeah.
so I mean, like I said, I had all the hats to match my outfit. But then as I progressed to college, um, I would buy all kinds of fitted hats.
Hmm.
I don't know where the fitted hat part came from. I just liked the way they looked. I liked the structured look.
Hmm.
Um, but then when I graduated, I became I'm from upstate New York. That's where my dad grew up, and that's where he moved us after he got out of the Air Force. So my identity was formed there because I went to middle, high school, college there. So I became a Yankees fan,
Hmm.
and I would wear nothing but Yankees, and that's when the Yankees hats became really popular. It was just the Yankees, and there was the orange and the red, and I had them
Every
all,
every different color.
every different color. And I would only allow myself to wear Yankees fitted hats. But then as I evolved, I'm like, I need something else. But I won't buy any other MLB team because I can't support any other MLB team. So minor league. I
Yeah.
love minor league. I've always loved minor league. If you look, I have several notebooks
Hmm.
that say my goal is to own a minor league team. I
We
always
had the
wanted
same
to.
goal.
I don't know if it'll ever come true, but it would be really awesome. But it's written, and I'm like, okay, minor league teams. They're always been fun. They always have the best logos, and even if it's part of a different MLB team, who cares because it's not official. So I was okay with that. But I can only buy a minor league team because you could spend endless amounts of money.
Oh
You got
yeah.
the wheel, but for me, I have to visit the stadium, and then I
Yeah.
can buy that team anytime in the future. But
Yeah.
so that's how that became my obsession. I like, well, I love hats. I need to visit these minor league stadiums. So that just became a part of my life now where I try to get out. And apparently everybody does that, or there's a whole community of
It
people
it's
who do
insane, isn't it? Like how
it.
many people are actually, and then right, because we're all part of the same community, right? We're all looking at
Yeah.
all these guys who are like, doing their summer trips and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I need to do one of those
Yeah.
trips because that looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they go across the country for like 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 weeks? I don't even know how you can do that. I could barely. I mean, we just went to Florida, and my wife tallied up the whole trip, and I was like, "Oh, all right. Well, good thing that only happens once a year."
Yeah. Well, maybe we should do this just maybe every other year or something like that,
Yeah,
honey. We'll
yeah,
compromise.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I just got back from my trip and it was like we hit the mud cats and then
Oh,
we hit Durham Bulls and oh man, they weren't playing but the Bulls, but man, that was cool because it was you could go in the back and you can
hmm
see, the whole field. It's so awesome. I was right under the Bulls, so that was I was in heaven at that point.
yeah. And see, that's the thing is as long as I visit the stadium, that's okay because
Mhm.
I take pictures and everything. Of course, I would love to go back to some of the ones that I never got to see people play. Um, but as long as I visit, then I can collect.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
where how many are we up to right now since you started doing the visiting
I think
the
I'm up to
stadiums?
19 now.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. I know I got now I only have 100 left. It would have been better if it was still 140.
Yeah,
But
you're lucky because then
yeah.
but then now you're gonna have to add the independent ball,
Oh
college,
yeah.
summer collegiate
Absolutely.
ball.
Yep.
All right, so which one is your favorite so far out of the hats that you've collected? You got to have a favorite, right?
Oh, definitely. Let's see. My favorite now, it's probably um man, I I bought so many when I just went to Florida. Oh man, that was a good trip. But
So,
oh
what
gosh.
stadiums did you visit when you were in Florida?
So we went to we started I was supposed to go to Fort Myers, but I called right before that was going to be the first one, and
Mhm.
they said, "Sorry, we don't open when there's no games." I was like, "What
Like
stadium
what?
doesn't have the team store open?" But come to find out, tons of teams didn't have their stores open. But so after Fort Myers, we went up to Tampa. I went to Tampa Tarpons, and my jaw dropped when I walked into that store because, of course, it's Yankees.
Yep,
They
that's
had
right.
Yankee stuff, but the store compared to their website doesn't do it justice. The store was huge,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, and half the stuff that's on their website or that's in the store is not even more than half. There's tons of stuff that's not even on the website. But I bought a few at Tampa Tarpon, and then we went to all these places are right next to each other. Clearwater,
Yeah.
um, Dunedin. Dunedin was closed. Clearwater actually had a game that a doubleheader, and I didn't count that because I have the Emma the minor league passport book, and I had to purchase a ticket just to go into the store.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they were like, well, because we have a game,
You
and
can't
I say,
like
well,
yeah.
yeah. So, but the thing was, they were giving away free trucker hats anyway, so it was kind of a good deal.
It's a win-win
So
already right there.
yeah, so $5 to get in, and then a free hat, and then I bought a couple there. Uh, where else did we go? I mean, we stopped at Tropicana, we stopped at the Marlins, um, and we're in Miami as well. Then we went up north, Jacksonville. We did go to a game. I remember we came back down. Um,
Jumbo
I
shrimp,
was
huh?
Oh, the jumbo shrimp. That was a must go to
Yeah.
because I wanted that logo and I wanted to be able to buy stuff from them forever. But funny thing is, I didn't even buy something that had jumbo shrimp on it because I was like, how did I go there? I ended up buying their Negro Leagues red caps
Oh yeah,
instead.
that's a cool one though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the one I really wanted was the pinstripe one, but it was a snapback, and I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I should buy it in the future. But then I did get one that it's a J for jumbo shrimp, of course.
Mhm.
Um, then we went back down when we were going to leave, and to the Mets, St. Lucie, they were
Mhm.
closed, and so there was another one, Jupiter, and we said, no, I said, forget it. They're going to be closed, and I'm not going to go just because. But yeah, there was a ton of stadiums that we knocked off the list that for this past trip. But for my favorite, oh my gosh, I don't know. Maybe it might be my current hometown. I guess the Flying Chanclas might be
Oh
my
man,
favorite.
yeah, that's a cool one. I try
Yeah.
to look for one in the dad hat, right?
Yeah,
Still can't find it, man. I
man.
had
Yeah,
the
because
opportunity, but it just slipped out of my hands, and I just haven't been able to get it since. So, word of advice for everybody out there: if you see it, get it, because you may not get it again.
that's very true, and that happened to me two times for the. Like I said, I grew up in Charleston for a part of my life, so I
Hmm.
wanted to, my first minor league game was the Charleston Rainbows, so I wanted that hat for nostalgia,
Yep.
and well, I went into the store, they didn't have my size. Uh, and in the past, I saw it, but I hadn't visited the new stadium, so I
Hmm.
didn't get it. But then I finally visited, and then they put the new ones on. They had the red when I visited, then they came out with the blue. Well, then they ran out of my size. But you ended up buying or showing it, I
Yeah,
believe.
I remember
So
that. Yeah.
that prompted me to go look. For some reason, my size showed back up. I bought it. I was like, not again. I'm not doing it again.
That's awesome, though, man. So you ended up purchasing, and you're like, I'm not missing out on it.
I'm not
That
again.
no, that's
Oh, so
awesome.
I do have it now, and I love it, and I'm glad I was able to finally get it because that was part of my childhood.
So tell me, about that first, experience, your first game, how was that?
So I remember that very well. It was with my little league team. My coach, he used
Hmm.
to drive this. I think it was like I don't know, a Dodge Ram truck, and he used to always pile us up in the back. And he drove us from the Air Force Base all the way downtown, and we went to this game. And
Hmm.
I remember walking in there, and it was the old stadium. What do they call it? The share it with the Citadel
Hmm.
College Park,
Yeah.
and it was old rickety stadium. I remember sitting on these old wooden benches. I mean, I probably got a splinter. They were so
Oh, I'm
old.
sure. Yeah.
But I remember walking into that stadium and thinking I was at Yankee Stadium, basically. It was
Hmm.
just a huge stadium to me as a 10-year-old. And I remember going to the fastest pitch little game that you could do. And I thought, the guys were, somebody you look up to. Of course, I wish I knew who I saw back then, but
Hmm.
it was just,
It's just the
it was
overall experience.
yes, it was awesome because it was being in a big stadium. You think you're like in a major league park, and it was just this class A, minor league park.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just one of those cool feelings, right? You're going to the ballpark and you smell everything, you smell the
Mm.
grass, you hear that the crack of the bat. That's just perfect baseball, right? To me, that's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what's the minor leagues is all about, in my
Yep.
opinion.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I
So
love the family feel that they have.
right, exactly. And let's not forget it's also very much affordable for, and compared to major league games nowadays.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. You're a baseball fan. How do you feel about the state of the minor league baseball being taken over by major league right now? How do you feel about that?
Uh, I don't like it. I don't like
Okay.
where they're going with it. It just
Hmm.
looks like a big money grab for the
Hmm.
most part. There's this control that they're trying to have. I understand that I read you know Manfred wants to be the baseball everything, and Major League Baseball is going to be that thing, and it just it's taking away from the hometown feel. It's taking away from uh, the fun atmosphere, it, and and part of that is like I saw that teams can't even make new logos anymore without approval.
Yeah,
So if
which
they
doesn't make any sense because that's where they
yeah
make all their money.
yeah so if they think of something clever now, they have to wait. And they said for this whole year nobody can do it. So like I mean it's just the control now is
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I was not a fan when they took over, and then obviously when we found out that they were going to be contracting, some of those teams, and some of the teams were going to lose affiliation.
Mhm.
So it was a very weird situation. I have not seen it to be anything for the better, right?
Nope,
Because
not
we've
yet.
seen some
Not yet.
situations where you have some of those players, right, where they're sleeping in hotel
Yeah.
lobbies and all that. So I'm with you there. I don't think it's a good thing. I like the independence of it, right? Because
Yeah.
what makes it fun is the family experience. Those quirky logos, right, that you see in minor league baseball. That's what makes it fun, right?
Hmm.
For
Absolutely.
me, I think about it, and then you look at the make and bacon, down in Georgia, right? Always having different kinds of logos, kinds of fun, but it's what it is, right? Savannah
Yeah.
bananas, right? And those are the things that make it fun, make it unique. So yeah. So where's Kaught Looking going to in the future? What's your plans for it now?
Right now, that's what I'm trying to actually figure out. What do I want to do with it? um, like I said, I don't see it being a clothing store anymore.
Hmm.
Eh, But so I'm a social worker by day. So I like I envision myself to possibly be working with athletes someday.
Hmm.
But um, it, I want to work in sports. I think I want to work in baseball. And if Caught Looking could be that, another thing I envision is having like this Caught Looking training facility or something. But of course, with mental health and
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know. That's just a rough draft dream. It's not even something that I'm like diving into, but um, who knows? There is one thing that I'm really, really interested in trying, and that's there's a program that we have here in Texas.
Mhm.
Uh, it's called the Day Tripper, where so this guy he goes to different small cities, or any city in Texas,
Right.
and he'll go and show you the places to eat, what to visit, and things to do in these little towns. I want to do something similar like that with the minor league team.
Hmm.
One, it'll get me to going to these other minor league teams,
I
but
mean, which is a
then,
plus.
right, so I would go find somewhere where you can eat and then find something baseball related outside of the stadium that you can do, and then show the fun amenities of the baseball stadium, and then make that into a little show. So
That's pretty cool.
I think that would be fun. I don't know how to pull that off yet. I've been thinking might as well just do it because I kind of do it already on TikTok. I have a little series called coolest minor league baseball stadium amenities, and I'll just pick certain cool things that are going on at the stadium, and then people love that. But then the funny thing is, every time you show one team, they're like, "Well, what about this team? What about this team?" I'm like, "This
It
is
would be
about
a
this
never
team."
ending. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, listen, we're talking about this team right now. I'll
yeah,
look into the
right.
other one. I'll put it on the
Yeah,
list.
I want to go. Trust me, but they're always like, "Well, what about this team?"
Hey,
So it's
you know
kind of
what
fun.
though? I think that's cool though, right? Right? Because me as a parent, I would be like, all right, so what are the cool things to see in this area? I want to go see the minor leagues, right? But I have
Hmm.
a 3-year-old daughter, so we need some amenities, and we need to think of what other fun
Yeah,
things to do while we're there. So that way she doesn't get bored, because she probably won't even last a full inning sitting down on the seat. So
yeah,
they
and
gotta you gotta figure things out.
that kind of stems from my sons. They couldn't care less about baseball really. So and it hurts me. And um I have to they so they're starting to gravitate toward. They've asked me now, when are we going to another stadium? Because
Hmm.
I've enticed them by being collectors of their own things. So
There we go. Now we're talking.
yeah. So one of my sons collects ice cream helmets. The other one does little plush animals, and one does the plush baseballs. So
Nice.
they hate sitting there the whole game, but I'm like, but the other stuff that happens around, plus you get to collect something. So they look forward to that. But then sometimes they're sitting there and they're just like, oh, this game. But I always try to go when it's a fun night, like fireworks night or something. So
Mm-hmm. Or even Sundays,
um,
right? Because that's usually what they have the most fun. They can run the
yeah,
bases and stuff like that. So
right.
that's
So
cool,
that's
though.
that's kind of where that idea stemmed from.
You know what though? I listen, I think that's a cool idea. I think that you should really
Thanks.
look into it because like I said, I'm a parent and I'm always looking for some things to do, while we're in town. So yeah,
Hmm.
why not?
Yeah,
And who knows, you may, if you end up start working for minor leagues, you might end up doing the whole, like you said, the whole training facilities, mental health, which I think it's something that, a lot of players deal with, but they deal
yeah,
with it a lot of times on its own, right? They don't search out the help or don't know
yeah.
how to.
And it's funny because and that's the hard part for me is that social work in sports is a very new concept, and
Mhm.
even people, they don't understand the whole what social workers even do. They're surprised that we can, if we work towards that, we can counsel,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of things for especially baseball players. I mean, they go through slumps, so that we can be there to assist and help them work those things out. And I think that that would be fun. Some teams are starting to get there, but it's
Mhm.
still they're barely scratching the surface on that.
I agree. I think that's, especially right now, right? You got to deal with all the pressures of, all right, listen, I gotta perform because if I don't
Hmm.
perform, I'm gonna get cut and they're gonna bring
Hmm.
somebody else in, so it's that endless cycle that, that just it never ends, right?
Oh, it's every day. They say baseball habits is just the next day.
Yeah. And let's be honest, a lot of the minor leaguers don't get paid that much. They're
No,
playing for the straight love and for that future, major league, paycheck that
yep,
a lot of them won't get to see.
yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right. So, what's next on your minor league list that you have going on right now? Well, like, where's your next ballpark that you want to go visit?
So this weekend, actually, probably going to go to Round Rock again. Last year we went to Round Rock, but it was
Hmm.
they, of course, they didn't play last year, but they had summer collegiate league,
Hmm.
and we took in some baseball. But uh, they're going to have they're honoring the Negro League,
Oh,
and
sweet.
I want to head up there and celebrate with them because I think that's pretty cool. I've really gotten into that studying the past because those players are just awesome, and a lot of them didn't get a chance.
Hmm.
And now when I see things about the Negro Leagues, I always want to participate because I just think supporting what couldn't be supported back then and the players that didn't get a chance just gives me the opportunity to learn and support now. So hopefully I get to go to that on this weekend. But there's still a handful of places in Texas I haven't visited, but Texas is so big that it takes all day to get to some of these places. So I really want to go to El Paso. I haven't been to Midland, and
The Chihuahuas.
yeah, and that stadium just looks so beautiful. I really want to go to the
Yeah,
that one. But
that's a cool
those
one.
those are probably the next closest. But I have a list in my I have a little journal, and I have the times in miles of how far different stadiums are. So I know Tulsa's close, and I know Oklahoma City's really close. So
Nice.
my wife knows. She's just like, so where are we going this weekend?
It's like, all right, listen, I know this
Yeah,
is going to be a trip, so let's plan this out.
yeah.
Have you been to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum?
No, that is on my list of places to go. So next year I'll be turning 40,
Hmm.
and I put that on my list of things to do before I turn 40. So hopefully I can make it to Kansas City before
It's an
I
awesome
do that.
place. It's an
It just
awesome place. I
it
I've
looks
been there
great.
once, and this was many years ago. So I mean, obviously they've already updated, but the feeling that you get when you're in that museum is by far one of the coolest museums I've ever been to, just because
Oh,
there's
that's
so much
awesome.
history there, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely you should put that on your list. That definitely will be a cool place. And then you can visit Kansas City Monarchs, right? Now they have an
Yeah,
indie ball named the
yeah,
Monarchs, so that's pretty cool.
that is
Uh,
cool.
all right, so I'm gonna finish up here with 10 random questions. Okay, these are just fast questions. Whatever comes to your head, you answer. Sounds good?
All right, sounds good.
All right. Here's number one. You ready? All right. Favorite
Ready.
movie snack?
Uh, Popcorn.
All right. Favorite sports movie?
Oh gosh, Rookie of the Year.
Ooh, good one. All right. All right. Favorite ballpark you've been to?
Yankee Stadium.
Okay, I'll forgive you. I'm an Indians fan, well, future Guardians fan, but I'll forgive you for
Yeah,
that one. All right. Drive or fly?
fly.
Fly. Don't want to deal with the driving, huh?
Oh, I hate driving. My wife drives me everywhere. I hate driving.
That's hilarious. All right. Mountains or beach?
Uh, Mountains.
Okay. Cake or pie?
Pie.
Okay. Dog or cat?
Dog.
My man. Apple or Android?
Android.
Again, I'll forgive you. All right. Tacos or burritos?
Burritos.
My man. All right. And then last but not least, pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
I'll eat it. So yeah.
Like if it's there, I'll eat it. If it's not,
Yeah.
I don't really care.
I won't
much for
request it. I won't.
You won't request it, but I'll eat it if it's there. I'm not picky.
Yeah, if somebody put it on the table.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So this is the part where I'm going to ask you, where can people find you?
So you can find me on social media, either John Southey, that's Southee, or at Kaught Looking, and that's with a K, Kaught.
And then I'll put your links and all that on this podcast, so that way people can go ahead and find you, because your stuff is pretty cool. Those videos are actually pretty cool. I've seen some of those ones that you've done for the amenities and all that.
Yeah,
they're actually pretty cool. I like them.
Thanks for watching.
All right, man. Hey, thank you again for being part of the very first of hopefully of many episodes here on the Collector's Corner.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
So what do you guys think? Not bad for my first time on a podcast, right? So here's what I would ask of you guys. One, give him a follow. All right. John's a cool dude. Kaught Looking. Also, if you think that I can improve anything on the podcast, audio-wise, video, let me know. All right, I'm looking for suggestions. I'm always looking to improve this product. Put it on the comments. All right. Also, go on podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, or Amazon, Google, wherever you find it. Hit that subscribe button, as well as give it a 5-star. All right, got to get that ranking up. All right. Until then, keep on grinding, and always support the minor leagues.